everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Hey everyone, I'm your co-host Josh Compton, and here at Humor, Haunts, and Homicide, my co-host Renee Biggs and I bring you humor to the world of true crime. Our passion for storytelling is second to none, and we take pride in our ability to share gripping tales of ghosts, murders, and mysteries. Tune into our podcast to listen to our intriguing true crime stories that are guaranteed to have you laughing and creeped out all at the same time. Scary event?
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised. Retrostatic Radio presents Killing 15 Minutes.
Hello and welcome to Killing 15 Minutes, where you get your true crime fix in 15 minutes or less, or your podcast is free. I'm your writer, Sam Rossi, and shortly I'll be handing over a rough draft of a script to my brother, AJ, who hasn't read it, who's most likely has no idea what we're talking about. This should be fun. Good luck, bro.
Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome. I might keep that in.
Just a reminder, this is our post-tornado batch record, so we might be kind of weird today. Seriously, that was yesterday. Yeah, cool. I know, 2 months later, none of you guys are going to know what the hell I'm talking about. But we will. Kenneth Eugene Smith was born July 4th, 1965, in Alabama. Reverend Charles Sennett Sr. hired Billy Gray Williams, one of Sennett's tenants, to kill his wife, 45-year-old Elizabeth Doreen Sennett. Williams hired Kenneth Smith and John Forrest Parker. Wait, so this was a sublet of a...
Yep.
This isn't even I hired someone, this is...
I hired somebody and he hired somebody.
I did not know murder was a, what's the word?
Pyramid scheme?
Yeah. See, I understand if it's like, hey, I called a group or an the work for hire group.
Yep.
Or the kill for hire group. And then they hired people. Sennett was paying $1,000 to each man. Wow, really? Only $1,000?
Yep. Well, wait, this was the 80s, right?
All you said he was born was in 65, so it had to be March 18th, 1988.
Oh,
$1,000 is still not that much. I mean, it's better than it was now.
Oh, yeah, $1,000 now is nothing.
But it's still like, so Sennett gave $1,000 to Williams, who was also giving $1,000 to Smith and Parker?
Ended up being that Sennett ended up paying all three of them because they were going to all three be involved. So he's paying $3,000 to have his wife killed.
That seems terrible. You could go with $500 to a homeless dude, or even $1,000 to a homeless dude to just fucking offer. Help the less fortunate. Hire homeless people to do your crimes.
Okay.
If we're going into capitalism on this statement. On March 18th, 1988, Elizabeth was found stabbed in her Colbert County, Alabama house. Smith and Parker told Elizabeth that Charles had allowed them to survey the grounds for hunting purposes. After calling Charles, Elizabeth let the men in. Charles had paid for a gun as the murder weapon. However, drugs come first. So they had a 6-inch survival knife and used various household items to commit the murder. Oh, they bought drugs with the gun money?
Yeah.
So he paid them $1,000 each and even bought the...
Gave them money to buy a gun.
Uh-huh.
Told you it was interesting.
It's not interesting. This is stupid. I could murder someone. Allegedly, I could murder someone for a lot less stupid than this. Like, they even had a built-in thing where it could have been a hunting accident. Neither of them might have gotten even time. Elizabeth had stayed inside while they were surveying, but she let them in when they wanted to use the bathroom. Parker went to the bathroom first. Smith, at that time, decided to beat Elizabeth. Smith used a fireplace set, a walking cane, and a galvanized pipe. A fire pit set, so like he didn't just use the fireplace poker, he also used the shovel.
That is what I was under the impression of.
I mean, they're actually kind of flimsy if you want to like smack with them. I mean, yeah, a lot of them are cast iron, but Jesus Christ. This is a terrible, terrible movie pitch. Parker joined in on the beating. She was then stabbed 8 times with the knife. Sheriff Ronnie May was one of the first on scene. He was unable to find a pulse. When EMTs showed up, they found one. May stated, Sennett, air quote, almost fell when he was told that Elizabeth had a pulse. Or a plus. Had a plus, actually.
Did I spell pulse wrong?
P-L-U-S-E.
Yeah, I spelled pulse wrong.
You mistyped it in your writing, which happens a lot for you. I blame the drugs. May rode with Elizabeth in the ambulance. She was declared dead by doctors. May said Elizabeth fought it and she fought hard. Investigators thought the home invasion looked staged. The men took a video recorder and a stereo. May remembered Charles from a few weeks prior murder scene. Investigators received a tip through Crime Stoppers giving the killers' names. On March 25th, Charles was brought in for questioning. He denied any involvement. When he was asked about Kenneth Smith, Charles turned red and left the interview. He went to his church. He met with his sons and their families. He told them the truth. He told them of his affair and how he had their mother killed. Afterwards, Charles left. He got into his truck and then killed himself. A search warrant was executed on Smith's home. Investigators found the recorder. Both Smith and Parker gave information to the police about the murder. Smith was tried and convicted in Jefferson County after a change in venue from Culpeper County. The jury in the first trial found Smith guilty with a 10-2 verdict for death. For inmates convicted before 2017, the jury issued a sentencing recommendation. Oh, they actually took out jury recommendations?
For Alabama, I believe Georgia, there's a couple of them that no longer has it where juries it has to be unanimous verdict if they're going to be...
If they're going to recommend, pretty much?
Basically,
okay.
So unless...
See, that's actually something neat. Neat that I just learned, not neat as in like... Although it is actually a neat idea. Because you could easily see where a unanimous, or even like something like this, which you actually get into. If fewer than 10 jurors vote for death, then the judge is not bound to follow that recommendation. Which is actually, I think, pretty neat. If the majority, like a 10-2 split, or even a 9-3,
yeah,
then I think a recommendation is still a good idea. But then you get things where it's just going to be like, well, our recommendation is going to be murder the sumbitch who did some shit. Smith was sentenced in 1989 to death. However, in 1992, the conviction and sentence were vacated on appeal. In his retrial, the jury recommended life without parole. The jury recommended life with 11-1. However, the judge overruled and sentenced him to death again in 1996. Parker was also sentenced to death, which was carried out on June 10, 2010, by lethal injection. Williams was sentenced to life. And then died in prison November of 2020. By November 2022, Smith exhausted all appeals on his second conviction. Smith was scheduled for his date with a needle on November 17, 2022. Despite a motion to stay the execution pending U.S. 11 Circuit at 7:45 p.m. on November 17, 2022, a lawyer from Alabama's DOC, that would be Department of Corrections, emailed Smith's lawyers to inform them they were preparing Smith for execution. At 7:57 p.m., Smith was on the phone with his wife when guards hung up the call. Smith was taken to the execution chamber in handcuffs and leg shackles. At 7:59 p.m., a stay of execution was issued. The DOC replied they received the notice, however they did not inform Smith or allow him his lawyers. At 10 p.m., the execution team came in to place the IV into Smith's arm. Around 10:20 p.m., the United States Supreme Court lifted the stay of execution. After several attempts to insert an IV and a central line, at 11:20 p.m., his execution was called off. This marked the third consecutive botched execution by the state of Alabama. Following this, Governor Kay Ivey ordered a review of the execution process. Governor Ivey asked the state Supreme Court to amend state court rules governing death warrants to allow DOC personnel additional time to carry out executions. This was approved on January 12, 2023. A second death warrant was issued ordering Kenneth Smith to die by nitrogen hypoxia on January 25, 2024. Nitrogen hypoxia is the secondary execution method in Alabama and had never been done before. Given their track record, I would like a bullet to the head if I had to be. They fucked up my first one. They've never done the one they want to do now.
The first one was so bad that he wasn't able to move his arm at all.
Well, yeah, the central line.
Yeah.
Probably. And that's what we get for having a prison system built on bullshit. No, actually, that's not fair. I've seen people fuck up central lines before.
Yeah.
On January 10th, 2024, a federal judge ruled Bama could proceed with the execution. On January 24th, 2024, the Supreme Court refused to hear his appeal and denied a stay of execution. Elizabeth II's son supported this execution. The rights groups and the United Nations were concerned?
Yep.
The rights groups and the United Nations were concerned about the never-before-used method of nitrogen gas execution, which could lead to potentially cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or even torture. Smith's lawyers argued previously that it was unconstitutional to conduct a second execution when he survived the first. I would argue that he did not survive the first. They fucked up the first enough, and then he still got his stay of execution. That I think it does not count as double...
Dipping?
I want to say double jeopardy kind of might actually apply there.
It is possible.
Because, technically, it's the, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but you did it. So I could actually see where his lawyer, it's not that I want to side with a guy who was paid by a guy who was paid to kill a reverend's wife.
Yep.
Not that I have any here or there relationship with the church, but it is just one of those things of like, this is a comedy of errors in the weirdest fucking way. On January 25th, Smith's final appeal failed. That is not me panting, that is still Frankie. On January 25th, Smith's final appeal failed. Charles Sennett Jr. stated that Smith should pay the price for killing his mother. However, he felt that Elizabeth was being overlooked by the type of execution. Governor Ivey declined clemency. Smith's last meal was steak, hash brown, and eggs. Sam and myself actually really liked that as a last meal. Especially if you got a not soft-boiled egg, but
nice
over easy egg right on top of the steak. So you get all the yolk over the steak and then some into the hash browns. Yeah, we really were raised Southern, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
But that is the case, the insane case.
And death.
And death, he did eventually die. Did he?
Yeah, he was put to death January this year.
Oh, January 25th.
I can't remember.
Well, 25th is when you said his final appeal failed, but then you never gave an actual when he died.
He died on when his last appeal happened.
I know we're already over 15 minutes. I have no idea how...
I'll add it somewhere. This
is a farce. Not hilariously, for the first time, it's not a farce on the legal side.
No.
This isn't bumbling cops. This is a reverend hired a dude to kill his wife. That dude goes, alright, I got a couple people, give me more money. The reverend goes, okay, now here's some money for a gun. They said, no, I want some meth.
Probably coke. It was the 80s.
It could have been coke, could have been meth, could have been crack.
I don't know. Did they have meth back in the 80s?
Yes.
Oh.
What time do you...
I figured that's a 2000s thing.
No. It being so ingrained in non-city living and even smaller cities like Rome is later in the 90s and 2000s because crack is whack, but crack is cheap. But then there was a crackdown on crack. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, so they blow their gun money on drugs. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm doing this without caffeine. We had a tornado yesterday.
I know.
Your sister-in-law's sister's been in the hospital for like 3 days.
My wife's sister.
My sister-in-law's sister, not your sister-in-law's sister. That would be silly. It's been a fucking time. But thank you. Honestly, I'm truly thankful for this wasn't, and then he gutted the 7-year-old like a fucking halibut.
No. I'm trying to avoid kids except for our Halloween episode.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
She was 15 when she was killed.
Oh, teens aren't kids. However, that does not mean that they are adults either. I'm AJ Carey.
I'm Sam Rossi. Later, y'all.
Killing 15 Minutes is hosted by Arthur Carey, with scripts written and researched by Sam Rossi. If you like this episode or want to stay updated on this series, consider following Killing 15 Minutes on Patreon or Retrostatic Radio on all major social media platforms. Good night and God bless.
You're watching Retrostatic Radio.
Wheel of Random is turn. Tell us the 15 minutes we shall learn.
I'm Sam Rossi, writer and co-host of Randomly 15 Minutes, where the Wheel of Randomness gives me the topic and I write about it.
I'm Megan Klodnicki, and I'm the host of Randomly 15 Minutes. I cold read what Sam writes and learn in real time about a random topic.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms and YouTube.
Follow us on Facebook at Randomly 15 Minutes to get more random facts.